Before you face this day, pause. You don't need to be stronger on your own. You don't need to control what's ahead. If you're feeling tired, uncertain, or under pressure, this prayer is for you. Today, ask the Lord to protect you and strengthen you from the inside out. You may believe that success is something you chase with enough effort, enough planning, enough strength of your own will. You may have been taught that if you push harder, stay louder, move faster, you will arrive where you want to be. But this belief quietly exhausts the soul. It makes you think that protection comes from control and strength comes from self-reliance. Yet faith teaches you something deeper and more stable. True success is not built by force. It is formed by obedience. It is guarded by God, not by your anxiety. It grows when you learn to say, not your will, but His will, even when the path is slow and unseen. When you ask the Lord to protect you and strengthen you today, you are not asking for an escape from responsibility. You are asking for alignment. You are asking that your steps match His wisdom. You are asking that your heart be kept steady when pressure rises. Protection is not the absence of difficulty. Strength is not the removal of weakness. Protection is God guiding what touches you and what does not. Strength is God working through you when your own power runs thin. Ask yourself honestly, how often have you confused movement with progress? How often have you believed that speed equals blessing? Faith invites you to slow down and see clearly. God is not rushed. He is intentional. And when He protects you, He does so by shaping your decisions before shaping your outcomes. When He strengthens you, He does so by forming your character before changing your circumstances. Picture a seed placed into the soil. It does not break the ground immediately. It is hidden, covered, pressed down by darkness and weight. Yet something sacred is happening there. The seed is not forgotten. It is being prepared. The soil protects it from exposure. The pressure activates growth. In the same way, God often hides you before He lifts you. He protects you through seasons that feel quiet. He strengthens you through resistance that feels uncomfortable. The seed does not argue with the soil. It trusts the process, not its will, but the design placed within it. Your growth follows a spiritual pattern. God does not rush what must be rooted. He does not expose what is not yet ready to stand. Preparation is not punishment. It is protection in disguise. When you feel held back, ask yourself if God is shielding you from a storm you cannot yet see. When you feel stretched, ask yourself if He is building strength that will soon be required. There is a spiritual law woven into creation. What is prepared in secret is revealed in strength. God's timing is not random. It is precise. He prepares you internally before positioning you externally. This is why obedience matters in the unseen moment, when no one applauds, when progress feels slow, when prayers seem unanswered. These moments are not wasted. They are layered with purpose. Pressure reveals the heart, not comfort, not ease. Pressure shows you what you truly trust. Consider a believer who loses a job unexpectedly. The pressure exposes fear, but it can also reveal faith. One heart panics and grasps for control. Another kneels and says, Lord, protect me and strengthen me today. Both feel the same pressure. Only one allows it to refine them. Another example is relational conflict. When words cut deep and misunderstanding grows, pressure reveals whether you seek peace or victory. Faith chooses obedience over impulse. It chooses humility over pride. Focused obedience is sacred stewardship. Your attention is not random. What you focus on shapes who you become. Distraction is not harmless. It slowly erodes devotion. Obedience requires presence. When you give God your attention, you give Him room to guide you. Focus is not about doing more. It is about honoring what God has already placed in your hands. Ask yourself where your attention has been scattered. Ask yourself what obedience would look like if you treated focus as an act of worship. Growth follows a faithful path. You learn. Then you apply. You examine your heart. You correct your steps. And you remain faithful. This path is simple but not easy. Many want to skip examination. Many resist correction. But protection comes through humility. Strength grows through teachability. When you allow God to examine you, He is not condemning you. He is refining you. Discipline is faithfulness practiced daily. It is not driven by emotion. It is not sustained by motivation. It is anchored in commitment. When you pray even when you feel dry, that is discipline. When you choose integrity when compromise seems easier, that is discipline. This is how God strengthens you, not through sudden bursts of zeal, but through steady obedience. Patience is strategic in the kingdom of God. Seasons exist for a reason. You cannot harvest what you have not planted. You cannot rush what requires time. God works through seasons to teach trust. Winter is not failure. It is preparation. Spring is not reward. It is responsibility. Harvest is not entitlement. It is stewardship. Day by day, obedience compounds. Small faithfulness builds spiritual momentum. Reflection keeps your heart soft. Correction keeps your path straight. Humility keeps you teachable. These are not signs of weakness. They are tools of refinement. When you reflect, you see where God has been faithful. When you accept correction, you realign with His wisdom. When you walk humbly, you remain under His protection. Spiritual momentum grows quietly. One prayer builds on another. One obedient choice strengthens the next. Over time, what once felt heavy becomes natural. This is how God strengthens you. Not all at once, but over time. Not through spectacle, but through consistency. Breakthrough is not an event you wait for. It is a walk you commit to. Every day you choose obedience, you step into protection. Every day you surrender your will, you receive strength. When you say, Lord, protect me and strengthen me today, you are not asking for an easy day. You are asking for a faithful one. You are asking to walk under His covering, guided by His wisdom, anchored in His peace. Day by day you learn to trust. Day by day you grow stronger. Day by day you walk not by sight but by faith. And even when the road feels uncertain, you are not alone. God goes before you. He guards what concerns you. He strengthens what He has called. So breathe. Release control. Choose obedience. Trust the process. Not your will, but His will. And as you walk forward, remember that protection is already surrounding you, and strength is already being formed within you. Even now, even here, even as you listen and allow these words to settle into your heart, shaping your perspective, steadying your spirit, and inviting you to walk forward with quiet confidence, knowing that God is not only watching over your destination, but carefully guiding each step along the way, teaching you to listen, to wait, to respond, and to remain faithful even when the path feels narrow and the answers are not immediate, because faith does not demand clarity before obedience. It trusts the one who sees the full picture and knows exactly what you need today, tomorrow, and in the seasons yet to come. And as you continue to walk with Him, you begin to notice that your prayers shift, your fears loosen their grip, your patience deepens, and your understanding grows, and you realize that strength is not something you force, but something you receive, and protection is not something you earn, but something you rest within. And this rest does not make you passive, it makes you grounded, steady and resilient, able to face uncertainty without panic, able to endure delay without despair, able to stand firm when pressure comes, because your confidence is no longer rooted in outcomes, but in obedience. And as this truth settles deeper, you begin to see each day not as a challenge to survive, but as an opportunity to walk closely with God, to learn His ways, to listen for His guidance, and to respond with trust. And even when mistakes happen, even when you stumble, you do not run from Him. You return, knowing that His protection is not fragile and His strength is not limited. And this returning, this continual turning of your heart toward Him, becomes the rhythm of your life, shaping how you speak, how you choose, how you wait, and how you hope. And over time, without realizing it, you are no longer asking for strength as often as you once did, because you are walking in it, and you are no longer pleading for protection out of fear, because you are living under it with assurance. And this assurance does not come from having all the answers, but from knowing the one who holds them, and trusting Him enough to follow, step by step, day by day, even when the road curves and the horizon is unclear, because faith was never about seeing far ahead. It was about staying close. And as you stay close, as you remain faithful in the small, ordinary moments of today, you discover that God is already doing more than you asked, shaping you into someone who can carry tomorrow with wisdom, humility, and peace. And this shaping continues quietly, persistently, lovingly, as you keep walking, listening and obeying, and it is here, in this steady walk, that the prayer, Lord, protect me and strengthen me today, becomes not just words you speak, but a truth you live, breathe, and carry with you, even as you move forward into the rest of your day, allowing His presence to guide your thoughts, guard your heart, and strengthen your spirit for whatever lies ahead, knowing that you do not walk alone, and you never have, and you never will, because His faithfulness surrounds you now, and continues to unfold in ways you may not yet see, but will one day understand, as you look back and realize that even the quiet days, even the difficult days, even the uncertain days, were all held together by His care, His timing and His purpose, leading you gently, steadily, and faithfully forward, deeper into trust, deeper into obedience, deeper into a life shaped not by fear or striving, but by faith, patience, and a quiet, enduring strength that grows as you continue to walk with Him, choosing again and again, not your will, but His will, in every small decision, every waiting moment, every act of obedience that feels unseen, yet matters more than you know, because this is how God works, and this is how He continues to protect you and strengthen you today. And as you sit with this truth, allowing it to settle, to steady you, to remind you of who He is and who you are becoming, you begin to sense that there is still more ahead, more to learn, more to apply, more to examine, more to correct, and more faithfulness required. And this does not overwhelm you. It grounds you, because you understand now that growth is not rushed, and obedience is not burdensome, and the journey itself is part of the blessing. And so you take another step forward quietly, faithfully, trusting that the same God who has brought you this far will continue to guide you, and strengthen you not just today, but in all the days to come. As long as you remain willing to walk with Him, listen to Him, and surrender your will to His, even when it costs you comfort, even when it requires patience, even when it asks you to wait, because in this waiting, in this trusting, in this obedience, something deeper is being formed within you, something that cannot be taken by circumstances or shaken by uncertainty, something rooted in faith. And as this formation continues, you realize that the prayer you whispered at the beginning of the day has been quietly answered all along, not in dramatic changes, but in steady strength, not in perfect conditions, but in faithful presence. And this realization invites you to pause, to reflect, to give thanks, and to prepare your heart to continue walking. Because the journey is not over, and there is still more ahead, more lessons, more seasons, more opportunities to trust, to obey, and to grow. And as you move forward into what remains, you carry with you this assurance, this quiet confidence that whatever comes next, you are not unprotected, you are not unprepared, and you are not alone, because the Lord who strengthens you today is the same Lord who will walk with you tomorrow, and the day after, and in every season that follows, as long as you continue to place your trust not in your own understanding, but in His faithful guidance, allowing Him to lead you step by step, shaping your life into something that reflects His wisdom, His patience, and His enduring love. And as you continue to listen, to learn, and to obey, you find that your heart grows calmer, your faith grows deeper, and your walk grows steadier, and this steadiness becomes a quiet testimony, not of your strength, but of His, not of your control, but of His care. And it is here, in this place of surrendered trust, that you are invited to remain, to continue to walk forward with humility and faith, knowing that there is still more to be revealed, more to be formed, and more to be experienced as you continue this journey, step by step, day by day, under His protection and within His strengthening presence. And as you hold onto this truth, letting it shape how you see the rest of your day, you may begin to sense that there is still something unfinished, still something unfolding, still something God is gently leading you toward. And it is with this awareness, this openness, this willingness to continue, that you prepare your heart to move forward, knowing that the story is still being written, and the work is still ongoing, and you are still being shaped, guided, and strengthened as you continue to walk in obedience and faith, trusting that what God has begun in you, He will continue to carry forward, step by step, moment by moment, as you remain faithful, attentive, and willing to follow wherever He leads, even when the path stretches further than you expected. And the journey requires more patience than you imagined, because it is in this ongoing walk, this continual surrender, this daily choice to trust and obey, that the prayer, "Lord, protect me and strengthen me today," continues to echo, deepen, and unfold within you, guiding you into the next part of the journey that still lies ahead, waiting to be walked with faith, humility, and steady obedience. And as you prepare to continue, you take a quiet breath, steady your heart, and remain open to what comes next, knowing that there is still more to be said, more to be learned, and more to be walked through together. As this journey of faith continues beyond this moment, inviting you to remain present, attentive, and willing to continue walking forward under His care and guidance, trusting that the same hand that has led you this far will not let go now, but will continue to lead you onward, deeper into faith, deeper into obedience, and deeper into the quiet strength that comes from walking closely with Him. And with this awareness, you remain ready to continue to listen and to walk forward, knowing that the journey is still unfolding, and there is still more ahead to explore, to understand, and to live out in faith as you continue to seek His protection and strength, not just today, but in every step that follows, allowing His presence to remain with you as you move forward, open and willing into what comes next. And as you stay in this posture of willingness, something subtle yet powerful begins to take place within you. You stop measuring your days by how much you accomplished and begin measuring them by how faithfully you listened. You stop asking whether you are ahead or behind and start asking whether you are aligned. This shift does not happen overnight. It happens slowly, day by day, as obedience reshapes your instincts and trust rewrites your responses. Ask yourself again, gently, honestly, where do you seek safety when uncertainty rises? Where do you look for strength when fatigue settles in? Many run to noise. Many run to distraction. Many run to control. But faith invites you to return, again and again, to the quiet place of surrender. Not your will, but His will. This is not resignation. This is wisdom. Because when you place your life under God's care, you are not giving up direction. You are receiving it. Protection often looks like restraint. God may block a path you were eager to take. He may delay a door you were ready to open. At first this feels like resistance, but later you realize it was mercy. Strength often looks like endurance. God may not remove the weight immediately. He may teach you how to carry it with grace. Ask yourself if you have mistaken God's protection for denial or His strengthening for delay. There is a refining that only time can accomplish. Just as fruit does not ripen the moment it appears, faith matures through patience. You cannot rush spiritual depth. You cannot shortcut trust. God uses repetition to build resilience. The same prayer, whispered day after day. The same choice to obey, even when it feels small. This is how spiritual momentum is formed. Quietly, faithfully, consistently, pressure continues to reveal the heart. When plans change suddenly, what rises within you? When prayers are not answered in the way you expected, what do you believe about God then? These moments are not meant to shame you. They are invitations to grow. Each response teaches you something about where your trust truly rests. And each correction, when accepted humbly, becomes another layer of protection around your heart. Focused obedience requires saying no to many good things in order to say yes to what God is asking of you now. This is difficult. Distraction often feels harmless, even comforting, but it slowly pulls your attention away from what matters most. Treat your focus as sacred. Guard it. Ask yourself what deserves your attention today. Ask yourself what obedience looks like in this moment, not in some distant future. The path of growth remains steady and clear, even when emotions fluctuate. You learn by listening. You apply by acting. You examine by reflecting. You correct by adjusting. And you remain faithful by continuing, even when progress feels invisible. This rhythm does not change. It deepens. Over time, you begin to trust the process itself, knowing that God is present in each stage. Discipline continues to shape you when feelings fade. There will be days when prayer feels dry, days when obedience feels heavy, days when waiting feels endless. These are not signs of failure. They are opportunities to practice faithfulness. Discipline anchors you when emotions shift. It keeps you moving forward when motivation is absent. This is how God strengthens you, not by removing the struggle, but by teaching you how to remain steady within it. Strategic patience teaches you to respect seasons. There is a time to sow and a time to wait, a time to tend and a time to trust. Impatience tries to harvest too early. Faith waits for fullness. God knows when you are ready, and He knows when the moment is right. Your role is not to force the season, but to remain faithful within it. Reflection becomes a sacred pause. It allows you to see where God has already been at work. Correction becomes a gift. It keeps you aligned. Humility keeps your heart open. These qualities protect you from pride and prepare you for growth. Without them, success becomes fragile. With them, progress becomes sustainable. Spiritual momentum continues to build, often without you noticing. Yesterday's obedience strengthens today's resolve. Today's faithfulness prepares tomorrow's endurance. Over time, you realize that what once felt difficult now feels natural. Not because the path has become easier, but because your faith has grown stronger. Breakthrough reveals itself not as a single moment, but as a transformed way of walking. You no longer wait for life to change before trusting God. You trust God as life unfolds. Every day becomes an opportunity to walk closely with Him, to listen, to respond, to obey. This is where protection and strength meet, not in perfect conditions, but in daily surrender. Day by day, your prayers deepen. Day by day, your reactions soften. Day by day, your trust grows. You begin to see that God has been answering your prayer all along. Not always by changing what is around you, but by strengthening what is within you. Not always by removing danger, but by teaching you how to walk wisely through it. As this understanding settles, fear loosens its grip. You stop bracing for what might happen and start trusting the one who holds what will happen. This trust does not make you careless. It makes you calm. It does not make you passive. It makes you attentive. You learn to move forward with discernment instead of urgency. You may still face uncertainty. You may still encounter resistance. But you are no longer shaken in the same way, because your confidence is no longer built on outcomes. It is built on obedience. And obedience places you under God's care. This is where true protection lies. This is where real strength is formed. So as you continue into the rest of your day, carry this awareness with you. You do not need to strive for control. You do not need to fear delay. You do not need to exhaust yourself trying to secure what God is already guarding. Instead, remain faithful, remain attentive, remain willing to obey. Let your prayer be simple and sincere. Lord, protect me and strengthen me today, not just from what I can see, but from what I cannot. Not just for what is easy, but for what is required. Trust that He hears you, that He is already at work, and as you walk forward step by step, remember that this journey is not about arriving quickly. It is about walking faithfully, not your will, but His will. And in this surrender, you will find that protection surrounds you, strength sustains you, and peace accompanies you. Even as the road continues, even as the story unfolds, and even as you keep walking forward in faith, trusting that the God who walks with you today will remain with you in every step that follows, guiding you gently, strengthening you quietly, and protecting you faithfully now and always.